In today's lecture, we're going to discuss about what is memory access method, right? In the earlier lecture, we have discussed about memory hierarchy and the types of memory available to us, right? And now in today's lecture, what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about the memory access method. What are the various types of method by which we can actually access memory, right? Since each memory type is a collection of numerous memory location, we know that the memory, what exactly the memory type is, it is nothing but it's a collection of numerous memory location. Different type of memory location can be termed as memory type, right? Now in order to access the data from memory, first it must be located and then the data is read from the memory, right? Suppose if you want to access some data from the memory location, then what you are going to first, you must know where it is located, right? And only after that you can read the data from the memory location, right? Clear? So what we have to do, first we have to locate it and then we can read the data from that particular memory location, right? And we can actually access the data from the memory, right? This is clear. Now there are following method to access the information from memory location, right? We have different types of method via which you can actually access the memory, or you can read the data from the memory, or write the data from the memory, or you can take the data from memory. So we are going to see what are those methods by which you can actually access the memory, right? You can gain access to the memory. First is random access. Now we'll understand what is this random access method is all about. See, in this method what happens, main memory of a random access memory in which each memory location has a unique address, right? So what is the main memory? Main memory is actually a random access memory. और इसमें क्या होता है, जितनी भी मेमोरी लोकेशन है, whatever the memory location is there, each and every memory location in case of random access has its unique address. That is, the address that one memory location is having will not be the second memory locations will not have the same address. Each and every memory location that is allocated or that is present in the random access memory will have separate and unique means something which is not common. If one memory address का यदि कोई हमारा 2323 is the memory location, then this memory location will not be, this address will not be taken, will be taken by any other memory location, right? ये जो unique होगा, suppose for example, let's take a common example. Suppose we have a random access memory and it has different blocks of memory location on it. Suppose block A, block B, block 2. So block A is having address A1. Now since block A is having the address A1, now this A1 will not be the address of any other location. It's not going to be similar. It's always going to be different as well as unique, right? Now using this unique address, any memory location can reach in the same amount of time in any order. What they are trying to say, with the help of this unique address of the memory of random access memories, right? So what you can do, you can reach it in the same amount of time in any order. Whatever the order may be, whatever sequence you must be following, you can reach to that very particular memory address at the same amount of times. Means time is not going to differ. It's going to be same. Clear? Now second, after random access we have sequential access. The second access method or the second method of accessing memory is sequential access. Now what does the sequential access means? As the word sequence itself implies, भाई जैसे कि हमें नाम से ही पता चल रहा है, this is something that we are getting via name itself. Sequence means something which is in a particular order, particular sequence, right? That we use, if anything is in certain order, then we termed it as a sequence. So in this methods allow the memory access in a sequence or in an order. You can access the memory in a particular fashion, in a particular order, or in a particular sequence. Then such type of access is called sequential access. इस तरह के access को क्या कहते हैं हम? Sequential access. Clear? Now the third method by which you can access the memory is the direct access, right? Now again, as the word itself imply, भाई 90% जो चीज़ें हैं वो तो हमें नाम से ही पता चल जाती हैं. अब direct access से what do you understand? See, as the name itself implies, direct access means in this mode the information is stored in the tracks with each track having separate read and write head. क्या होता है इस मोड में? In such type of access, information stored in the tracks. Where we store the information? We store the information inside some certain tracks, and each track is having separate read and write head, and each and every track that is associated with such memory is having its own separate read and write head, right? It's not having any common read and write head, it is having its separate read and write head. Now, after seeing the various type of access method, the next point we'll understand is the main memory, right? What do you understand by the main memory? What do you understand by the main memory? Main memory is a memory unit that communicate directly with the CPU. अब main memory क्या होती है? Main memory वो unit होती है जो directly communicate करती है without any mediator with the CPU. So how can you define main memory? Main memory actually a unit that communicate directly with the CPU without any intermediate, without any supporting end. It's directly communicate, or without any intermediate, it directly communicate with the CPU. Such type of memory is termed as main memory. Now, auxiliary memory and the cache memory is also called main memory. We can also define, or we can also call auxiliary memory and cache memory as a main memory. See, we have already discussed what is auxiliary memory, what is cache memory. This I don't think we need to repeat again, right? We have discussed these terms, the various types of memory in the prior lecture, so I don't think we need to understand this. So what is the directly memory, right? Memory unit directly communicate with the CPU. इस केस में क्या होता है, मेमोरी यूनिट डायरेक्टली कम्युनिकेट करता है CPU से, और ऑक्सिलरी मेमोरी और कैच मेमोरी भी हम मेन मेमोरी ही कहते हैं. See, it is a central storage unit of a computer system. It is large and fast memory used to store data during computer operation. So what is the location of this such type of memory? The main memory, the location of the main memory is always central. You know, it always is located, or is a central, located at the central position, you can say. So where it is located? It is located at the central position of a computer system, right? Now, it is very large and fast memory. Since it has direct access to the CPU, so you can say it is large, and you can also say it's fast, right? To what? To store the data during the computer operation, right? While the computer operations are going on, it's very fast and large. It has the capacity to store the data very fastly, and the size is also very large, right? Now, the main memory is made up of RAM and ROM, with RAM integrated chip holding the major share. Now, what is the composition, or how the main memory is made? The main memory is actually made up of RAM and ROM. RAM stand, all of you know what is RAM, and all of you know what is ROM. What is RAM? Random access memory. And what is ROM? Read only memory, right? One is volatile, one is non-volatile. So what happens with the RAM integrated circuit chip? It holds the maximum share. Maximum number of the share in the integrated chips is being taken by RAM, right? Now we'll understand what is RAM and what is ROM, and also we'll understand what are the various types of RAM, right? So as RAM, RAM, R stands for random, A stands for access, and M stands for memory. So RAM stands for random access memory. See, we are actually having three types of, you can classify RAM into three types. What are those three types? Dynamic RAM, static RAM, and non-volatile RAM, right? Now we'll understand what is dynamic RAM, what is static RAM, and what is non-volatile RAM, right? What is dynamic RAM? See, dynamic RAM is made up of capacitor and transistor. What is the composition of what are the it is made up of transistors and capacitor. So, and must be referred every 10 to refresh every 10 to 100 meter per second. What they are saying, MS pe, at every 10 to 100 ms we need to refresh it, right? It is made up of capacitor and transistor. It is slower and cheaper than SRM. So what is the advantage of DRM over SRM? You can say that the advantage of DRM over SRM, that is static RAM, is that it is cheaper in the rate, right? So this is the advantage, and if we are talking about the disadvantage, then you can say that the dynamic RAMs are slower as compared to SRAM. So this could be the disadvantage, right? Now we'll understand what is static RAM. See, static RAM has a 6 transistor circuit in each cell and retains data until the power is off. Main advantage is that even if after the power is off, it retains until and unless the power is off, it can retain the data. And it has how many transistors? 6 transistors, right? Now what is non-volatile RAM? See, non-volatile RAM retains its data even when it is turned off. What is the advantage of non-volatile RAM over the SRAM and DRAM? That it retains the data even when the power is switched off. Then also it retains the data. And very good example of non-volatile RAM is flash memory. What it is? Flash memory. So today we have discussed about the various types of RAM, and then we have discussed about the main memory, right? And then we have seen what are the various types of access method, right? Memory access method. Now I hope all the things that we have studied today is clear to you, and still if you have any problem, please feel free to ask me. Thank you very much.